I see y'all are trickling in. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks if you're streaming this on YouTube. Thank you for being here and finding us through that avenue. We will go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Again, thanks for being here today. We're going to talk about the MBALaunch program and an overview of the program, next steps, kind of important dates, and everything you need to know about the program that starts in just 6 days. So a little bit of urgency here on the launch program, but there's still plenty of time, and we are really excited to help you through the process. My name is Sarah Dewar. I am the program manager here at Forté. This will be my 6th MBA launch cohort. So I've had the honor of helping thousands of women through the MBA application process, guiding them through our strategic and intentional curriculum, really just looking forward to the opportunity to help you reach those next goals. For those of you that are new here to Forté, we are doing the important work to fuel the future of business by way of connecting individuals like yourself or the members of our community with top tier business schools, undergrad and graduate level business schools, with influential companies, incredible donors that are generous to make some of our program going. And like I said, community members like yourself to ensure that you have the access, the resources, that we can make sure you're aware of how that MBA can be a financial reality for you, that it can be financially affordable, and what those next steps would be in terms of moving forward with those goals. I do also want to invite you to join us. We are having a webinar on February 11th, if you are interested, and I will drop the registration link here. This is a session where some of our partner or member schools will be there to talk about program fit. So maybe you are at this stage, you think you want an MBA, or maybe you know you do, but you're still kind of wavering of, gosh, is full-time the right thing for me? Maybe I should consider part-time or executive options, or what even are the different options and what flexibility can they provide for me? This session next week, or 2 weeks, I'm sorry, on February 11th will be great. Again, I dropped the link there if you wish to register for that. Hopefully you are here because you have some understanding of the value of an MBA and how life-changing it can be for you on a personal and a professional network, or a personal and professional level. Just real quick, we'll kind of go over these 4 pillars. Obviously, expanding your network of peers, individuals in business schools. Hundreds of individuals, depending on the program you go to, are coming from various different backgrounds, different educational experiences, different lived experiences, different professional experiences, really allowing you to learn from others as best as you can, but also be connected to all of their networks. Just an exponential opportunity to grow that network and who you're connected with, again, for personal and professional reasons. The career impact, maybe you are feeling like you kind of hit your limit at your job, or maybe you decided the major you chose and the career path you chose right out of undergrad is no longer serving you. So whether you're looking to change industry, accelerate your career, change your functional area, or maybe even become an entrepreneur, the MBA can definitely be that mode of transportation for you as you work through the career impact. Speaking of return on investment, it actually is a pretty big investment and you should be ready for that. However, we are working with schools as best as we can to make the MBA a financial reality. Like I mentioned before, we have Forté fellowships that any of our partner schools can offer, and ample funding opportunities are available through all of our partner schools. This is something, again, depending on the program format that you're interested in, kind of where you fall in terms of your data points or the competitiveness of your application, but we'll talk more about that. You can see here that there is a tremendous jump in the salary for individuals going into an MBA versus those coming out of an MBA. So a lot of intentional work. Sometimes it's the right time. We often kind of see like this ebb and flow as it goes with the economy. You know, employers are a little bit hesitant to maybe promote, or maybe there's layoffs and so you're taking on more work, but there's no real financial benefit for you. So people are like, hey, let me just walk away for a few years. Let me upscale while the market is down, and then let me come back on the upswing and be a more competitive candidate for the next step. And then, of course, obviously the business and the management fundamentals that you will learn through the foundational education that you will get in an MBA. A lot of that is coming not just from the faculty members and the textbooks and the case studies and so forth, but again, the individuals that you will be in class with, allowing you to kind of grow all of those technical skills, as well as a lot of the soft skills that will be important and will serve you future in your career. So today we are going to be focusing on the MBA Launch program. This is our application prep program, flagship program here at Forte, has been around since 2013, again, serving thousands and thousands of individuals through the application process. If you do have any questions throughout today's session, I would invite you to use the Q&A feature. We should have time at the end to get to those questions, and I'll keep an eye on it as well in case anything pops up that's relevant to the current topic. If you were joining the MBA Launch program, we have several goals for you. First and foremost, building confidence in your story, helping you understand that the schools don't want cookie cutter applications from every single person. They don't want the same application. There is a lot of benefit to your MBA student experience when there's diversity in that classroom. So you are uniquely you, and we're going to help encourage you to really lean into that for the application process. Building your best application, whether that be by providing test prep recommendations or resources that will help you have a competitive test score, or it's strategically helping you pick the right references or break down the essay question, how to kind of manage all of those application components to ensure that you are putting your best foot forward and the application you're submitting is truly reflective of you as a competitive candidate. You will be joining a supportive community. Hundreds of women enroll in this program every cohort. And so maybe you are in a place where nobody in your job or nobody in your family or your circle of friends has ever thought about an MBA or pursued an MBA. And you're like, I just don't have someone to talk to about this, why it makes sense. No one understands why I'd want to go back to school. The community of the launch is, like I said, hundreds of folks that are working full-time, managing test prep, navigating the MBA research process, school selection process, as well as the application process. So an extremely supportive community, not just of those going through, but those who have in the past. You will have access through our program to alums of MBA Launch and our partner MBA schools. You will have access to current students and Forte fellows at our partner schools, as well as even the admissions committee members at those partner schools. So it's a community of people that are interested in your investment you're making in yourself to build your best application, and they want to help you along the way. We are going to help make sure that you find the right business school for you, that you understand that there are so many options, and not just in program format, but geographical location, what you're hoping to do afterwards, kind of maybe the size of the program, or the culture, the vibe is something that you are looking for, and we're going to help you explore that. And ultimately, our goal is to propel you forward. So in this case, it will be through the MBA application process. So then an MBA program will help continue propelling you forward perpetually on your career. I mentioned a few of these things. Generally, we are an application prep program. So we are going to break down each application component, again, help you make sure that you are building your best application. There's a lot of accountability. We are meeting weekly in this 8-month-long program. You'll have emails from me and the team. There's Slack communities. There's lots of reminders. We are managing the 8-month-long curriculum through a learning management system. So we're kind of keeping track of your progress in that way. Again, making sure that you are on the right track, not just through our program content, but to hit different timelines or deliverables to make sure that you're on track for whatever your application timeline is. I've already talked a little bit about the community. Just want to emphasize this, that as a launch cohort, we will have a Slack community, so you'll have the opportunity to engage with the entire cohort. We'll also do peer groups. There are several other opportunities to connect with folks in the cohort, whether that be based on your geographical location, whether it be based on kind of the industry you're coming from or the industry you're looking at. There are different channels on more of a social aspect. Some maybe you are parents, or maybe you are members of the LGBT community, or maybe you have a pet and you want to talk about dogs, or there's a show that you are watching. So all kinds of ways to connect with your peer mates, whether that be lifestyle, whether that be geographical location, ethnicity or background, or interests moving forward. So that's something to keep in mind. You will get discounts on our partner services. And so all of our content, and I'll talk about this in a minute, is shared with you all from program partners or admissions consultants, industry experts, if you will, that they also have their own thing. So they are able to support you through launch, kind of included in the launch program. But if you were to look for additional help or additional services, you will get discounts through those entities or those organizations. And then as if you were running a marathon and you get that medal at the end of the MBA launch program, there is kind of a token or a medal dangling for you. And those are fee waivers to our program schools or our member schools. And so we talk about the return on investment for what an MBA program can be, but this launch program, I would also consider that an investment, not just because of the time and energy and effort that you're going to put into it, but it's going to help you reach your goals. And there is an incredible return on that. Typically, these fee waivers, if you're applying to 3 or 4 schools, you could consider it a wash on that, or a great return on your investment. And then if you were to take advantage of additional partner discounts, you can, kind of keep upping your return there. This is the curriculum. Kind of by month or almost by phase, you can see how we'll transition through all of the process. Again, this is somewhat aligned with intention to what the actual application process is, what you should be focusing on at each particular point in the process. We're going to start off fast with a lot of self-reflection, a lot of really leaning into you and your why and who you are, who you wish to be, or how you wish to represent yourself throughout this process. So we're going to do personal branding sessions. We're going to be, looking a little bit into what kind of program you want or what the options are, kind of where you are in life. Is it possible for you to go to a full-time program, kind of pause your career, or maybe you have a family already and you cannot afford that drop in income, temporary drop in income. And so maybe you just need to find a full-time or a part-time or executive option that works best for you. So lots of that almost inward looking to get started, really building that internal foundation for who you wish to be through the process. You can see then we move on into admissions insights. We're going to give you a peek behind the admissions curtain. You're going to have access to admissions committee members and reps that from schools you might be interested in that are going to talk to you about their application process, what they are looking for, their program, what features stand out, what you may or may not be interested in. That all kind of goes into the school selection process as well. And that process is a two-way. School selection is, definitely a two-way process. You not only need to build an application to ensure that you're a good fit for the schools, but you owe it to yourself to make sure that the schools are a good fit for you as well. And so in addition to the insight, we're breaking down each application component. There's sessions on picking the right references, how to prepare your references with a packet to ensure that they are submitting a good reference on your behalf, not just a reference. There are various sessions on career game planning, resume workshops, really breaking down or trying to understand what each essay question is actually asking you to make sure that you are answering that strategically within your application. We will have some additional content on financing your MBA, talking to schools and school panels about the scholarship options, merit-based versus need-based, fellowships. We have some outside resources, outside of what the school provides, kind of where can you go or what can you do, how to budget, and starting now, how to budget for your MBA, and things to maybe think about that you haven't thought about yet, or that you will not be thinking about. Maybe they wouldn't even cross your mind. So lots of resources there. Again, connecting with the schools, connecting with your community, that is ongoing throughout the duration of the program, whether that be with your internal cohort, whether that be with members, current students, alums, admissions committee, professional members at our member schools that you might be interested in, or those program partners that you wish to connect with. You will have those connections throughout, community connections throughout the duration of the program. We do also offer test prep. This is an optional offering within the program. And let me just clarify, you do not need a test to be in the program. However, it is a requirement that by July, you submit official test scores to us. So some of you already have test scores. That's great. That box is checked. I love that for you, that you're not trying to balance that at the same time. It's probably also giving you a good data point of how to narrow down your schools and what might be good reach schools versus safety schools versus aspirational schools, etc. For those who don't have a test score yet, we have lots of resources available. Anything from free resources, pre-recorded content, some sessions that will be included throughout the duration of the program from our test prep partners. But each of them also offers some benefits. For example, and I'll talk in a minute about these partners. we have a new test prep partner that's going to be doing a free 3-part series on picking the right test for you. So breaking down questions in each of the different test options to see which one works best for you, see which one you feel more comfortable solving before you dive into actually investing in some prep for that. We are partners with GMAT, and so they offer test prep discounts on their official GMAT and executive assessment test prep materials. We also partner with Target Test Prep. They have a 6-month option and a 12-month option of kind of self-paced programs that you get access to at a significantly discounted price, as well as Manhattan Prep offers, I want to say, a 20% discount on their structured classes. So whether you are looking for individual classes or self-guided test prep or an actual structured 8-week long class, there are resources and options available for you within the program. So the test is a scary thing. This is a big part of the accountability that we're holding you through. We'll have several practice test submission dates. And again, one of the program requirements is to submit an official score to us by July 1st. So time to start preparing now. And we'll kind of help you through that process as you will. Okay, I'm going to keep moving on. I see a question there and I'll get there in just a minute. Again, encouraging all of you, if you do have questions, please just use the Q&A feature and we can get through those. This here is a snapshot of our last live cohort. And so maybe you're looking at some of these things and they're familiar because you've already been exploring schools and you've been looking at class profiles. But generally, this is just to show you that we will have a large community of individuals. There is an average age. Someone has to be the youngest, someone has to be the oldest. That's the same thing when you get into business schools. But we have folks coming from all different areas of the world, all different countries. Only 75% of our cohort is in the US. And so lots of flexibility for those who are not US based, or maybe those who travel for work or have a few other things coming up. We certainly can be flexible with you and work with you to make sure that the program still works. Lots of different backgrounds in terms of ethnicity, employers that folks are coming from, undergraduate majors and experiences. Again, there's no one fit that we are looking for in our launch program. There's no one fit that business schools are looking for. Our job here is just to generally make sure that you understand what an MBA will do for you, and that eventually you will be a great competitive candidate that our schools wish to receive an application from. So in terms of your work experience being aligned, understanding what your career goals are there transferable skills, how's all of that working? I've talked a little bit about program interest. Majority of folks in the program will be interested in a full-time program, but there are a lot of people that come into the program still exploring MBA options, and that's okay. Even if you think right now you're full-time and you want to change your mind, totally fine. I would say usually by the end of the program, it's probably 75% full-time, 25% end up going part-time or executive options. And that can change throughout the duration of the program for various different reasons. One of them, maybe you go to put your notice in, or you ask your boss for a reference and they say, wait, hold on, we don't want you to leave. Let's work something out. We'll pay for your part-time MBA if you stay and work here, or something along those lines. So there's lots of influential factors that go into that. Here's a quick snapshot of who our 2026 partners will be, and who you will expect to hear from throughout the course of the 8-month curriculum. So again, we'll do weekly webinars on Tuesdays, either 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern, once a day, one time each Tuesday. It will depend on the partner and who's speaking and what have you. Obviously, this is a live cohort. Our expectation is that you will be there, and our hope is that you will be there as live as often as you can. So maybe being intentional with your lunch break, or flexing your time a little bit to ensure you're available. We do understand and expect that all of you are working full time, so that we know that there will be occasional conflicts. Each of those weekly sessions will be recorded and available for you to watch. Just as you would miss a work meeting or something, you would be expected kind of to take responsibility and ownership and catch up on that. Mark it off in the learning management system so we can again track your progress through the curriculum. I see a question coming in here. Can I know the list of universities that can make eligible for application fee waivers with the launch program? That list is actually on our website. Let me see if I can get that for you. It can change year to year, but typically we will check in with the schools kind of over the summer, and then the waivers will be released to you all before round one deadline. So opportunities to, oh shoot, I'm on the wrong side. Opportunities for you to still meet round one deadlines with those fee waivers. And I'm on this page. Here's our MBA launch page. And if you scroll just down a little bit, you should see fee waivers there. And that's the list of the US schools and the Canadian, UK, and European schools that offer fee waivers this past year. Like I said, that can change year to year depending on new partners that we get and things like that. But that is generally the list that we go by. The class times, again, absolutely. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, but typically our meetings are on Tuesdays from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time, or 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again, each of those is recorded, and we are working to finalize that. So you should know by the time that program starts next week what that looks like for the whole 8 months. So you will have ample time to plan ahead. Great question. Thank you for asking. Okay, moving right along now to specific information for the 2026 cohort. We are starting in 6 days on February 3rd. So next Tuesday, there is an application process to the MBALaunch program. However, if you use this promo code, it will be free for you versus the $35. You're welcome to pay $35 if you wish. Consider that part of your investment and make sure that you can put some buy-in into the program. Maybe you need to invest your money to make yourself take it serious. Everyone kind of is different in that sense. But when you get to the application, use launch 35, all caps, no spaces. If you do not use this code and you submit a payment, unfortunately, I cannot waive that for you. So just be mindful of that code. When you are admitted to the program, you will be expected to submit the enrollment fee. That is kind of like the second step in the process to ensure you gain access to all of our materials and the learning management platform. And then we will get started on February 3rd. Quickly for the application, and some of you may have already submitted your application. I would say general is no more than 2 hours. Really, you could probably finish this within an hour. And I'm not saying that to like rush, like definitely don't. We want you to take it serious, but I also want you to know that this does not have to be a time commitment, and your application to MBALaunch is going to be much different, much less stressful and less involved than what your eventual application to MBA programs will be. So generally there's a form. We're just asking you to self-report your contact information, where you went to school, what your GPA was, self-reporting. We don't need transcripts, telling us what your major was, giving us some information into your employment history, where you currently work. There is an option for you to update or share a link to your professional resume. So maybe your resume is in Google Doc or something. Excuse me, that's optional if you wish to share the link to that URL. We do require a LinkedIn URL though, so make sure that you are sharing your LinkedIn URL in your application. I've seen a few applications come through where maybe people don't have LinkedIn, or maybe there's no employment history on there. If that's the case, we're going to reach out to you to get a resume. We do want to understand your professional background, your work experience moving forward, as that does play an important role in the actual MBA admissions process. So make sure that you are giving us that information. Again, if you don't have a LinkedIn, that's okay. Give us your resume link. If you are sharing both your LinkedIn and your resume, please make sure that they match. There is some consistency among those. I'm going to jump down to the essay number 6 here on the screen. This can be a written or a video essay. I think it's 500 words or less, or 3 minutes or less if it's a recorded video. And when I say recorded video, I mean like set your phone up, prop it up on a tripod, and talk to your phone to answer the question. But I do want to make note that the essay is also optional at this particular time. So it does give us some context into who you are. It is thought-provoking. It's a good way to kind of build a foundation, and again, make sure that you are also evaluating that our program is right for you. But if you do wish to answer the essay, we're asking you to tell us what you're looking, why you're looking to pursue an MBA, how the launch program specifically and the live cohort will help you meet your goals. Is it community? Is it accountability? Is it the weekly structure? What have you? And then how you connect to Forté's mission of getting more women leading a business. Like I said, that is optional. That usually is the time suck. Everyone thinks, gosh, I better say the right thing. I have to have the right answer. And they kind of get in their own head on that. The essay is optional. There is no right or wrong answer if you do wish to go that route. Again, it's another opportunity for self-reflection to ensure that you are understanding really kind of what this investment is going to look like. If you do wish to give us some additional information, maybe your GPA is a little bit lower, or maybe there's a gap in your resume, or something that you just wish to explain a little bit more, you are welcome to do that through the additional information or optional essay. If you are going to submit your resume, an essay, or additional information, you just need to copy the URL link into the application. If you copy text in there, we won't be able to read it. There's a character limit. We cannot see it. So make sure you're using something like Google Drive or Box or some kind of shareable thing. You can send a link to us where we can view what you're submitting. We don't need to access it to change it or to edit it or anything, just view access. We just need to be able to see what you're sending us. Okay, I see some other questions. Oh, these are good questions. These are good questions. I think this is going to answer quite a few of them. Thank you all for the questions. Our deadline is February 1st. I would suggest applying sooner rather than later. We right now are evaluating applications on a daily basis and releasing decisions. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you'll hear back from us. And then you'll be able to enroll in the program and make sure you have access before February 3rd. So you can wait until February 1st if you want. That's a pretty quick turnaround, but we are keeping tabs on those applications as they come in, and again, several times throughout the day, making decisions on those. So you can expect, I would say, to hear back sooner rather than later. So the sooner you apply, the sooner you'll hear back. If the application closes February 1st and the program starts February 3rd, are there any slots left? Yes. There are slots left. And are the applications reviewed in 2 days? Yes, they are reviewed on a daily basis. So thank you, Anonymous, for that question. Once I apply by February 1, when do we hear back on admissions? You will hear on a daily basis. Thank you. Zoe, yes, have slots admissions already been giving out? Absolutely. Our application actually opened in August for this program. So we've had people enrolling in the program since then, but there are spots available, and you, at this point now, we are working on rolling admissions. Who can you reach out to if you have questions? Pre-MBA at Forté Foundation. I'll get there in a minute. Yes. Attendance is tracked for the live sessions. Good question, Anonymous. Is attendance tracked for the live sessions? What if we have conflicts on both times? So on Tuesdays, the session will be offered one time. It's either at 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern or 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That depends on the availability of the presenter at that time. Each of those sessions is recorded. And so, as I mentioned, it's up to you to take responsibility and watch them when you do have those occasional conflicts. Our hope is that by committing to a live program, you understand kind of what our schedule is, and you will try your best to be there as live as often as possible. A lot of our program partners offer Q&A or give you a chance to ask your own questions or share a little bit of your own background, and they kind of help troubleshoot through that. So there is a benefit to attending live. If you do not attend live, like I said, our expectation is that you take responsibility, usually within the recordings available within a few hours. So you can watch it that night on your commute home, the next morning, on your commute to work, at the gym. We just ask that you be intentional, really kind of set time. It's so easy to get, if you miss one and then you don't set the time to watch it, it's an hour. And then the next week there's another hour, and you can tend to fall behind, but they are recorded. They are available. Attendance is tracked. All of those sessions take place in Zoom, and then you will also kind of update your progress through our learning management system. If we don't get into schools, okay, fee waivers is a question. If you apply today, is it likely you would get accepted? let me just tell you, we probably have like a 95% acceptance rate. So I can't say yes or no, but I am going to encourage you to apply with confidence with that acceptance rate. Does being part of MBA Launch program make us eligible for Forté scholarships during our MBA? So launch is not a requirement to be eligible for the scholarships. However, we're probably at like 65, 70% of our launchers do receive Forté fellowships at our partner schools. Because you have access to connect with the schools from the very beginning of your launch experience, months before you even submit your application, you have the chance to get to know the admissions committee members, build those pre-application relationships, and really understand what their process is. So when it comes to the fellowships, each of the schools, they do their own selection. So they have their own application process. Some of them say, hey, we want you to submit an additional essay to tell us why you want the fellowship. Some schools say, no need to submit anything else. We're going to use your existing application and we're going to evaluate your eligibility for the fellowship. So they evaluate, they select, and then schools ultimately fund those fellowships. And again, it all comes down, schools are looking for the mission alignment. Your involvement in launch is a great thing to do that. They're looking for competitive candidates. They're looking for, top applicants, all things that our launch program is going to help you. So being part of launch program does not make you eligible. You are eligible already. However, I do like to think that there is a very strong correlation between our launchers and the fellowship award. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, man, you all are getting the questions in. Let me finish a few more slides here, and then I'll come back to those questions. Let me move along here. Okay, so an overview, and hopefully this clears up some of these questions as well. I mentioned already the application fee. You can save $35 by using Launch 35. I see someone is having some troubleshoot issues there. Anonymous, I don't know who you are, so I can't help you troubleshoot, unfortunately. If you send us screenshots, I'd be happy to kind of look into that for you. Our contact information is on the next slide. Like I said, $35 application fee can be waived with Launch 35 through February 1st. Don't wait until February 1st. We're already kind of cutting it close. We're 6 days out, but to help you get started right away and take care of some of pre-programmed tasks, I would suggest applying sooner rather than later. Once you are admitted to the program, there will be a $750 program fee. This is the enrollment fee. We unfortunately don't have payment plans. If you're having issues, we can kind of talk about maybe moving your deadline, but just know without that payment, I can't give you access to the LMS platform. It is required before you can begin the program. We do begin the program on February 3rd. It is 8 months long. Like I said before, we will meet weekly from February through September of 2026. The test is not required for the application. However, we do require it by July 1 of 2026. Again, this is just some accountability. And to give you a little bit of context, in the past, we never required this test until September. And then by the time it got to August, people were like, oh, I haven't studied yet, or I still don't have the score that I want, or I just haven't been able to prioritize the test. And at that point, you've missed round 1, you're probably pushing luck for round 2, and ultimately your whole application shifts. So our goal is to have you have at least 1 attempt official test scores by July, so that we can work on whether it's a second attempt, maybe adjusting your school list, or whatever that looks like. Again, all in the name of accountability. I saw a question about the fee waivers. As a live launcher, you are eligible for fee waivers for 2 cycles. So the 2026 cohort, as I mentioned, runs February 2026 through September of 2026. This summer, like July-ish, before round 1 deadlines come back around. So think August of 2026, the fee waivers will be available for you. So you would be eligible for fee waivers for this fall application cycle as if you were starting an MBA in 2027. Or next fall 2027 application cycle, as if you wish to start an MBA in 2028. So those are kind of the 2 options, right? It's the MBA launch prep program, then you get into the application. You definitely don't want to be submitting applications at the same time as our program. You're not eligible for the fee waivers until the end of the program, until you've completed all of the program requirements. So I hope that helps clear some things up in terms of the timeline for you all. Okay, if you do have questions, premba@fortefoundation.org. Please email us. we are happy to help. Like I said, I know that somebody confirmed that email with us, and that is okay. Somebody else is also having issues with their application fee, and you're looking for some help troubleshooting. Please send us some screenshots so we can do that. I have lots of questions open, so I'm just going to jump right on into these. Someone said, will the recording be uploaded to YouTube? Today's recording and many other sessions that we have will be available and can be streamed on YouTube. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see lots of content there that is available to you for free. The launch sessions are not available on YouTube. They're exclusive to launchers, and they are only available internal to the folks who have submitted their enrollment fee. So anyone can go on YouTube. It would not make sense if I charge you for content that then I put available free for anybody else. So the recordings are available to you as an internal launcher. However, they are not placed on YouTube. I hope that that answers your question. Discounts for the program fee. I think there is a $50 one out there, maybe on TikTok somewhere. You can email us, or you will hear from our program assistants after you've been admitted. They can share that information. Considering recent visa restrictions, are the business schools all US based? They are not. And actually, you can take a look, not just at the the schools that offer the fee waivers, but let me pull the list of our member schools here so you can see. There are lots of partners that are not in the US. And here is, let me find my chat again, sorry. Schools. Hopefully that helps answer your question. Oh yeah, fee waiver list is different than the schools, all of the partner schools. Does that mean we can connect with admissions officers from the full list of schools? So yes, you can connect with, there's no limits on who you connect with. And we will go out to our schools. So to say, hey, you know, office hours are opening up, and the AdCom reps or the schools, they'll provide like a specific link. Once you get in there, and starting in March, the program will have basically a directory of links available that you can say, okay, I want to chat with someone from XYZ school. You go into the system, you look for that school, you will see if there is anyone available. And it could be a whole list of people from that school available. It could only be one person available, or perhaps maybe that school doesn't have anyone available. It's totally up to the schools in terms of what they're able to do. A lot of our schools take advantage of this opportunity because they want access to you ahead of time. They want to talk to you. They want to build these pre-application relationships. They like your commitment, right? You've invested your time, your energy, and effort into building your best application. And so they want to get to know you ahead of time and make sure that they can get an application from you once the application opens. So any of our program schools, whether they offer fee waivers or not, are participating in our symposium events, our webinar events, our community connection options. The alums are going to be represented. So I hope that that answers your questions. What kind of personalized device attention do we get? So office hours are the way to take advantage of that. And again, you can get that with members of our team, with the program partners or the admissions consultants. All of them offer one-on-one coaching or a one-on-one session with each of you. So that is an option. Oftentimes, I mentioned too, you will have access to launch alums or current students or Forté fellows. They've navigated this process, and a lot of them had the privilege of somebody else kind of helping them. So launch is one of those things where others are lifting you while they continue climbing, and it's really a give back kind of opportunity. So it's up to you. There's no like formal personalized content, or you won't be assigned like a one-on-one coach or anything like that, but there are opportunities to take advantage of that if that is something that you are looking for. Okay, I think I answered the question about the fee waivers. When we have group meetings, are those decided by the small groups? Absolutely. So peer groups is something that I mentioned. And so we'll split the cohort up into different peer groups, usually about 10-ish participants, and those are based on program format of interest and your loose geographical location. So for example, New York City, we have lots of launchers in New York City. So there probably would be like 4 or 5 groups of New York specific people. Fine. Somewhere else, maybe more Midwest, your group might be a mix of 2 or 3 people from Ohio, maybe a person from Michigan, maybe somebody from Indiana. And so you all would kind of coordinate what that meeting looks like. Our expectation is that those meetings take place once a month virtually. If it so works out and the whole group decides to make those in person and to meet more frequently, that's totally your call. In years past, I have had, it was my first year here at Forté, we had a group in LA. They all actually coincidentally lived within kind of the same neighborhood or worked within the same area. And they started meeting every other week, at like having supper club at somebody else's place, and everyone would bring kind of appetizers and they would hang out, and it became more of like, not just a launch thing, not just an MBA application thing, but more of a social thing. They're still staying in touch. More so than that, I actually, last summer I was in New York and I had an alum who is at a school in North Carolina. She was from New York, pre-MBA, was doing her internship in New York, and she was meeting up that same day with 5 of her peer group members. So years later, they had continued to stay in touch and get together. So the peer groups are really what you make of them. And yes, those dates and times and opportunities to meet, frequency are set by the group themselves. Okay. I'm not sure. There's a question here. Criteria for international scholarship recipients. I'm not so sure what this question means. What is the correct path to follow for all intents and purposes, resulting in a $200 grant? I'm not entirely sure. For the launch program, unfortunately, we don't have any grants. That $750 fee is already very highly subsidized with our partners. Some of them, if you were to like go to their website or sign on as a client specifically of them, you would pay more per hour than what your enrollment fee is, and you're getting, 30 plus hours of expertise for them. So I'm sorry, Tome, I'm not entirely sure what your question is, but feel free to email us if there's something else I can help you with. For the symposiums in March and May. Yes. So the symposiums are going to take place in March and April. There are 5 in-person cities that we will be 5 or 6 in-person events, and the dates have been set, and you will be able to register as soon as you get in. We also have 2 virtual options. And so maybe the events are in cities that's not close to you, or you can't make it on that particular day. There are virtual options. This also is a good time for me to mention that program requirements, though there might be some in person, you are able to complete the entire program virtually. So whether you are not in the US or whether you work and you have no interest in being at in-person events, totally up to you. But anything that is offered in person is also going to be offered virtually for folks that cannot make the trip for whatever kind of restrictions that you have. We're DC, Boston, New York, Chicago, LA, and San Francisco, and then 2 virtual events when it comes to the symposium. So that information should be released. If you're enrolled in the program, you would have already gotten that information. If not, you will be getting that very soon once you enroll. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, one more question here. Applying for deferred MBA programs that are due in April. I would say definitely reach out to pre-MBA@fortefoundation.org. We can connect you with some resources outside of launch, kind of like our pre-MBA or different free resources. You might also try to find us on YouTube. Like I said, there's a lot of really helpful content there that will be available in terms of picking the right school, specific deferred programs. You might also be looking at our pipeline partners. They might be helpful for you to see kind of who within our partnerships are going to be offered to individuals also looking for deferred MBA programs. So good question. There's often, yes, a Philadelphia presence, not large enough to have an event there. And we also don't have a school host in the area. But yes, certainly others in Philadelphia that you would be able to connect with. I was a Forté Rising Star. Unfortunately, we don't have any discounts available, as I mentioned, other than the application fee discount that we're promoting right now. And then I think there is one circulating out through TikTok. You're welcome to email us after you've been admitted. But otherwise, the program, like I said, is very highly subsidized, unfortunately. there are no other discounts. What kind of in-person events do you offer through the program, like connecting with admissions offices? So the symposium events will be opportunity to connect with admissions offices from different schools, and you'll be able to see kind of which schools are participating. You will get invited from schools to go to their school events. You'll be able to connect with your peers to say, oh, I'm actually interested in Columbia and they're having this women's weekend. Let's all go. And you'll find that there's like 25 launchers that are all at this event together. And so those are like not through launch specifically, but you're able to kind of meet with individuals within your cohort and plan for those types of things. We do also do the fall forums. These are in-person events in the fall. Again, no limits. There's nothing that says you can't do in-person things or that you shouldn't be doing in-person things, just our program for the sake of the 8 months and to be able to accommodate individuals who are not in the US or, you know, maybe don't have that option. It is not required of you to be doing in-person things. So happy to chat more. If anyone has any questions, again, you can email us at freemba@fortefoundation.org. I actually just got a ping that says applications are rolling in. So maybe some of you have already, you've been listening and multitasking. So thank you. I look forward to getting decisions back to you. I do want to thank you for your time today and thanks for listening. Again, this session will be available on demand at our YouTube page. If you do have more questions, please just let us know. Otherwise, I look forward to the opportunity of working with you starting next week and for all of the months to come. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and take care.